All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jitsi Community Call. We'll do the usual and do a brief update from our team and then open up for questions.
I can add, yeah. We pushed a new stable release and fixing some inactive video people were complaining about. We found a bug there, and it is now fixed. Also, Saul couldn't join, and he dropped me a message to for some updates. There is a new Docker release images with that stable release, which includes a prosody security update, and new better Gbris. Chrome is updated there to Chrome 90, and it's using the public URL of the deployment when connecting. That's it.
Yep, so the new release includes some fixes in the bridge. I believe there's at least 2 small fixes for things around bandwidth estimations. I'm not sure if the previous versions included the video type changes, but this is now in master, meaning that clients signal a video type to the bridge, whether they have a camera feed, screen sharing, or none. And the bridge uses this to first to not oversend the camera stream and only oversend screen sharing, and second to correctly fill in last 10 slots when an endpoint is known to not have a video stream. We are investigating some issues that we see with the bridge on the newest Ubuntu or on Foco. And Jonathan has more details, I think, but I don't think we have an answer to whether this is related to the OS version or the bridge version. So we're seeing some crashes.
I'm still investigating this. It seems to be an issue where, for some reason, the load average spiked to something ridiculous, like hundreds, but we haven't tracked it down yet. Actually, I don't think it's related to the OS release because we rolled back to Bionic and we're still seeing it there. So it's something in the latest, but it's very rare. It only happens in all of Meet Jitsi. I think it only happened, which is hundreds and hundreds of shards. It only happened once over the entire weekend. So, but if you do see it, let us know in the community.
Yeah, and it's a hard JVM crash. Does anyone else from the team have updates? Christo, Jaya, anything on the client side?
So I have one update on the client side that made to the new release, like under the manage video quality settings, when you actually play with the quality that you're requesting and sending, we made a change where it also changes the last in value. So if you're in a big call and then you're experiencing issues like not receiving good quality or your CPU is bad, then you could go and change it to low definition or standard definition, and then you would be requesting fewer videos from the bridge. So that should alleviate the situation. Yeah, that's one change that we made recently.
Okay, George, I think you've been working on Gigassi scaling and testing. Do you have anything to report here?
We are trying to determine what are how much load can the Gigassi take. We are testing in about the same environment as you guys have been testing with the bridge. We don't have any specific. We have added a stress level metric that is currently compatible with the way we do auto scaling. We intend to tune that to something more meaningful that is based on probably the egress streams that we have in Chigasi. We are with libjitsi, so the concept of egress streams still exists there, and we're probably going to base the stress level metric on that. But that remains to be defined. I mean, we are running the tests now, and we're going to see what makes sense. And we also look at, obviously, Damien is very much involved in this, and we are looking into a case where Chigasi just, after many calls, after handling many calls, the CPU usage goes off the rails, and there's no obvious reason why. The easy solution there would be to just terminate the instance and restart it. So that's always an option, but we try to investigate and a little bit look into it in a more detailed way to just, if we can avoid like restarting the Chigasi, it would be nice because we don't know when the issue is going to kick in. We observe it happens after a bunch of calls, like thousands of calls, but it would be good to have an understanding why this is happening and what's causing it and what are the implications.
So basically, we're load testing and fixing bugs. So. I have another update that I forgot. It's a long requested feature about not like moderation of muting and unmuting. So the logic there, the procedure module, the libjitsi meet, and the Jikofo logic is there. It's merged. It's in master, and we're working on the UI. It's almost done. Probably this week will be merged. So the moderator can force mute, like not allow people to unmute. And when the people try to unmute, the moderator will be asked for permission to do so. And when that's allowed, there will be a notification on the client side pointing people that they're not now allowed to unmute. This is it.
Damien, do you want to clarify about the Jikofo reservation system? We're deprecating it. What's the alternative?
Yes, so in the past we tried to drop it at some point, and we found out people were using it, and one community member, thank you for that, created a procedure module, basically replacing what it's in Jikofo. I've been testing that in the last few days, so I merged the changes and they're in master now. So it's enabling it right now will be not in Jikofo, but just enabling a procedure module and one config value, and that's it. So yep.
So if for people using reservations, we encourage you to try this out and let us know if it works for you or not.
It also fixes few issues that the user and I found while testing that around the reservation system in Jikofo. So those are now handled.
Jonathan, do you have anything to add?
Not that I recall. I've mostly been, I've been doing some more testing of large conferences, but no further results on that to report. Other than that, the idea of using JVM 11 is promising. Oh, and we actually changed we're going to change our configuration to use a larger memory size on our newer cloud instances, because that seems to work well too. So if you're running cloud instances, right now they're configured to use 3 gigs at max, because that used to be typically the max you'd have on a cloud instance. But it looks like if you have more memory than that on your cloud instance, increasing that is a good idea. it doesn't seem to hurt anything, especially with newer garbage collectors.
Yeah, and especially if it's a large instance running at higher packet rates, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's everyone from the team. I would just like to introduce Nils. He joined the team last week. Nils, do you
Hello.
want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Niels. Maybe a little bit of background. I started my career on the SIP Express router, better known as Camel these days, and have spent my career in all kind of like real-time communication stuff, and worked for the last 7 years on Firefox, mostly on the WebRTC pieces. Yeah, I joined like last week Jitsi. I'm excited to finally learn the how to run a service and be on the operator side and not on the client side anymore.
Yeah, so we're very excited to have Nils on the team. Welcome.
I think James is new since the last call too. Is that right?
That's right. James,
Yes.
welcome to the team. Would you like to say a few words?
My name's James. Don't know what you want me to say. Been working at video for a while. Started at 8x8 weeks ago, so I'll probably be working on the bridge. Nice to see everyone.
Great. Welcome, James. It's really good to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that was everything from the team. So open questions.
Hey guys, it's Corby. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say I appreciate all the hard work by the Jitsi team, and I've been on the forum trying to help things out for a while, and I continue to do that. It's my first time in the call, so I just wanted to pop in and see how this thing goes down. So anyway, great product, and I look forward to continuing to help where I can.
Great. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for helping out with the forum as well. That is something that we really need nowadays.
Good morning. I have a question. I guess it's a question. I think it's probably directed specifically at Jay. Oh, hi, this is Freddie. If you don't know already. Jay, so I was playing around actually with the min height for quality level property in configuring the client side, and it works great in a 2-participant call. But once the bridge kicks in, when you have 3 or more people, it appears as though the constraints are ignored. So I don't know, and I don't know if it's just my observation. I'm testing this actually on the current unstable, so I don't know if it works better on the stable. But my experience is that it works when you have 2 people, basically peer-to-peer, it works fine. But once the bridge kicks in, then the parameter or the property itself is ignored.
Which property are you talking about? Like from the manage video quality slider? Like
no, the main height for quality level, where you specify at what height the resolution should kick into standard and high.
Oh, okay. The thresholds for what you're receiving, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that it's changed recently? I mean, it's not working anymore recently? Is that what
It's not working. It works for peer-to-peer and peer-to-peer, but once the bridge kicks in, once I have a 3 or more participant call, then it's ignored. So
okay. Yeah, I'll take a look. I mean, do you have a question? I mean, did you open it in the community? Like, did you?
No, actually, I just saw this last night and wanted to make sure. So I haven't tested this in the stable. This was on the unstable, so I don't know. Maybe it does work in the stable, and this is just something, this transition between versions in unstable. That's why I wanted to find out from you if it's something you'd observed.
No, and this is not expected. So yeah, I'll give it a try. Maybe something's broken and unstable. So thanks for letting me know.
Thank you.
Stan has a question in the chat. When the Jitsi team members test, do they only test among other team members, or do they bring in other non-team participants? That's sort of a broad question, but we have testing on multiple levels. We start with obviously unit tests in its projects, but also a pretty comprehensive set of functional tests. That's the Jitsi Meat Torture project, which runs it runs on every PR. It updates all the related components and does an actual conference using Selenium and checks for various things. After this is merged, it automatically goes to the beta.mid.jit.si environment. So this is updated daily from master. Sometimes it lags behind a little bit, but we try to keep it up to date. Where it's open to the public, and we also hold our own meetings there daily to know these issues earlier. After we are happy with the version, we do more QA testing before releasing to Jitsi. And after a version has been on Jitsi for some time and we're happy with how it performs, this is when it goes to Debian stable. So I think this summarizes the testing that we do. Did that answer your question, Stan?
There is one more. We push to alpha first after merging the PR, and another set of tests, basically testing the updating from Debian packages and what is something is broken.
I don't know if we have the process documented anywhere though. And I'll share a link to the beta environment. Anyone
Hello.
else?
Yes, please. Floris here. 3 weeks ago, we really enjoyed the hackathon, and one of our projects, for that, I want to use the resolution of the Jitsi in a vertical way. So my question is, how can I change that from everything is obviously always horizontally oriented, but for this project, I want to do it vertically, and then hopefully get a 1080p out of there. So what would be the smartest approach to change or make this happen within the current Jitsi infrastructure, like self-hosted, of course?
Anyone? I think Saul would be the best person for this question, but he's not here right now.
You're asking for mobile?
Well, no, specifically to change from 1080p horizontally to 1080p vertically.
But running on mobile or mobile web version, or just the browser on desktop?
Both the mobile client as well as the browser in the desktop.
Let's see. Like the web should be already responsive. There are a few settings. If you're looking at the tile view, there are a few settings like maximum number of columns or something like that. Please to correct me if I'm wrong, but so you can play with that. It should be in config.js, I think. So that's one thing. Like, should be already responsive and just limit the number of the maximum columns so get a better.
Yes. And with regard to the video resolutions for the JV Bridge and the other components, where should I start to look to configure that?
Yeah.
I think if you have tiles, the constraints come from the size of the viewport.
Yes. However, the source resolution is currently configured at
okay.
720p
This is in
horizontally.
config.js. I'll paste two
Also.
links. It's in config.js
Thank you.
for the clients to be able to stream 180p is what you asked, right?
Yes, yes. And then
Okay.
instead of a horizontal of 920, I want a vertical of 920. And that's the most difficult part of the challenge.
I have no idea about it. Jay, do you have an idea? Can you change that actually? Like,
Are you talking about the capture resolution and?
Yes, the total video resolution. I want 1080 wide and 1920 high to get the maximum out of
you should be able to change the constraints in config.js. And there, by default, we have 1280 by 720. You can play with the width and the height. And once you get the capture resolution, on the receive side, it's going to be a little tricky. I don't know how Bridge treats it, because the client would be requesting a height of 1080p in this case. Or no, the other way. Then I don't know how the Bridge handles it, the receiver constraints. I mean, we could change the client, but it depends on how the Bridge sends the sender constraints back to the client.
I think the Bridge expects height to just be the smaller of the two dimensions.
Well, I think it just selects height, and I'm not sure what it does. And then I think the aspect ratio picked is entirely up to the client constraints. I suspect if you have all your clients requesting a portrait style capture, Bridge will just send height, and so I think the client should do the right thing with that. But we haven't tried it, so try it and let us know.
I would also like take it one step back. Like, do you actually have a camera which basically provides this vertical input already? So like I would be concerned basically if you take a physical USB camera and just turn it 90 degrees, that basically gives you the input you seem to desire. But like I don't think that the web browser would learn that you just turned your camera sideways, right? So you would want to, like, on the client side, probably like then tell somehow the Jitsi client that you just turned your camera, because I don't think that the cameras by default have like sensors or anything that would tell it that this is sideways, right? So is that like
well, only on mobile, not on any?
Yeah, only on mobile. Yes, yeah. But that makes me wonder: is this already solved? Like, are you only concerned about the part of like taking it through the bridge then, or where do you start basically with your vertical input?
Taking it from client to client. There is a device that you can put on your phone, so it goes from horizontally to vertically down. And this one is already done in portrait mode. And there's another like device with a hinge that can also do the same. So in that regard, I'm just looking how to optimally transfer this image through the software layers. And I now got some pointers, and the alternative would be to just flip it 90 degrees and then send it off. So I go from portrait to landscape, send it off, and then on the client send, rotate it another 90 degrees while flipping it, obviously. But thanks for the pointers.
Yeah, it's a weird case. We have more questions? Going once, twice. All right, let's wrap it up, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Bye.